Hey, welcome to episode number 235 of the Canadian Prepper Podcast. We're recording on April the 14th, 2024. My name's Eric, host of the show based in Southern Ontario, hunter, target shooter, ham radio operator, and of course, computer geek. As a first responder, witnessed an over-reliance on emergency services during major events, started a small preparedness company to help people get better prepared for at least 72 hours, if not longer. And apparently I'm a leprechaun.
Not anymore, you're not. I even took away the mean commentary. My name is Ian. I'm a homesteader on Vancouver Island who has no idea how OPSEC works, and ever since last week, my eyes hurt.
Wonder why.
I'm Jeff. I am based in Central Ontario. I'm a target shooter, ham radio operator, general overall handyman, and weather nerd.
And I'm the Frugal Gunny, recently moved to Northern Ontario, pretty much in the middle of nowhere. I'm an off-grader, a shooter, a hunter, fisher, gatherer, trapper type, and a generalist. And it's only relatively recently that I came to accept that I'm a prepper.
I'm Terry. I live in sunny Central Ontario. I'm a starving indie author, terrible hunter, and a pathetic fisherman. That's why I'm here. Glean knowledge from you guys.
And Ford owner, don't forget that.
Oh, that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't talk about disabilities on the show, do we?
Yeah, I do. I've got a list of those. I got to let people know.
All
There's
right,
a following of proud Ford owners out there. Just so you guys know, right?
Well, misery does love company, so. Anyway, want to help support the show? Buy some swag. We have both the Canadian Prepper Podcast t-shirt and the Tactical Velcro patch at www.prepperpodcast.ca. All the proceeds help cover the podcast costs.
And if you're enjoying the show, please take a few minutes and submit a review wherever you happen to find us. We want your feedback, even if it's bad. We also invite you to reach out to us and tell us about something you've learned this week. If you wish to email us, you can do so at feedback@prepperpodcast.ca.
All right, so we're mixing things up a little bit in this episode. I'm going to just update you first off on our personal preps. Then we're going to get into the main topic. Notice how we missed the news section there. And we're talking about world events and this little thing called the eclipse that went by. That was kind of a meh, but it happened. All right, let's move into what we've done lately for preps.
Well, I didn't do a lot. I did some fuel rotation, did some food prep, and ended up having to do some vehicle maintenance. My battery was getting weak, and I thought I had it fixed, and then it just totally died. So it wasn't a big deal. Just had to go to the local Costco and grab myself a battery and get it changed. So now we're good to go, hopefully, for another 5 or 6 years.
Just stock up on TP while you're at Costco for the eclipse?
I already had lots. I'm good. My 5 carts the last time, I think, had it covered.
Perfect. For myself, I know this is going to be shocking, but some more radio stuff for this week. For the people that are watching, I built this little guy. So it's a little T-Deck, Liligo T-Deck. So it's a little mesh-tastic device, but it's a standalone one. So it doesn't need to be linked into a cell phone or any other device to make it work. It works on its own. So I can take it out. It's battery powered, and it will link into the mesh-tastic system however it needs to without any other devices. So been playing around with that and made a successful contact in town too. So there is another nerd around here.
Okay, so other than Gunny, can you tell me what a mesh-tastic device does? Because I don't think anybody else knows.
Yeah. So it allows for text messaging on 915 megahertz. So it's just a messaging device. So anybody else that is using the software on 915 megahertz can message back and forth. You can also do it with encryption, so 256-bit AES encryption. So it's secure communications if you believe that it's secure. There could be a way to crack it still, but just device to device encrypted comms that is disconnected from everything else. So you can set it up with this. I can get another one of these or a device that links into my cell phone, and I can send messages back and forth without having to have any other central type of setup.
That's pretty cool, actually. Of course,
and 915 megahertz is license free, so you don't have to be a ham nerd to do it.
Oh, there you go. Awesome. Well, of course, if it's released to the general public, I guess it's already been cracked or whatever, right? So
that's why I said if you choose to believe the encryption,
yeah,
it's secure.
Fair enough. As for myself, I took down the old duck coop we had just halfway down the hill. It was actually covered in like moss, and it was like very well camouflaged for the rest of the property because it was like so overgrown with moss. But actually, once they ripped off the roofing material, actually the OSB underneath was pretty good. So I was actually pretty happy with that. So after sitting there for like 7 years in the middle of the rainforest, it was still solid. But anyway, yeah. So that's just kind of decrapifying the property a bit. Fuel rotation, just did a bit of that. I've got, I guess, we're not using gas as fast as we used to, so we're having a little problem with that. So the problem is we've got so much gas lying around, which sounds funny, that we're actually like it's going bad before we get to it. So I'm actually going to have to reduce the amount of fuel I keep on the property because it's just we don't go anywhere anymore. It's just hermits. It's what can I say, right? Exercise focus. So I've been doing a fair amount of exercise between farm fit and the hiking and everything else. Let's see here. Yeah, I do at least 8-10 kilometers a day. I think we did 8 yesterday and pretty much killed the dogs because they were just chasing out quail and a bunch of other stuff through the bush. So pretty good. We had a tummy bug rip through the crash pad there in Vancouver when I was over there. So yeah, I was sick for a few days. That was just awesome. And then now I'm on vacation. So now the real work begins. So maybe next week I'll have more for you.
Nice.
Oh, and they were asking in the comments already. No CGN deals, so you would have lost the bet, brother.
Oh. You did regain access to Discord, though. That's kind of newsworthy.
Yeah, that happened late last week, didn't it? It was just like,
it did.
Wow.
Welcome back.
Yes. Yeah. Like that we found a spot for the intern in the Discord.
That's right.
On my end, I started the summer transition in my truck. The place I've been working at, we've had snow and cold temperature dips right up until recently. So I've kept a lot of my winter gear in there ready to go. But now it's clearly getting into that springtime. So starting to do the summer gear swap over. And I've been practicing my PC building skills. I'm building a pretty big video crunching rig. And that's so I can handle some 4K content down the road and do all kinds of fun stuff. So, yeah. Not much else, though.
You might not want to get rid of everything just quite that quick there, Gunny. Just telling, just saying.
There we go. I see Marie in the live chat there asking if they can ask a question. Absolutely. Throw your question in the live chat there. And if it's something we can answer, we'll certainly jump in and try to help you out. All right, with that, let's move into the main topic, which is technically the news section that we usually do before the whole what we've done lately for preps. Figured it was a good time to talk about some world events and what is going on and what's happening, because things are a little weird right now. I think that's a good way of putting it, right? A little weird?
Yeah, I'd run with that.
Yeah, probably covers it, yeah.
Yeah, with World War III on the brink here, and the whole solar eclipse thing being kind of a flop. Figured it would be a good topic to touch on tonight. So, well, yeah, the eclipse here was just all overcast. It was, boring.
I'm going to give you all my spoiler right now. I think the whole eclipse hullabaloo thing was to keep people's eyes upwards while down on the ground and at sea. There's really real stuff going on that they just don't really care for you to know about.
Are you saying that they use the media as a distraction tool?
No, they
get out of
here. Wait a minute.
Now, the question is, if I was saying that, would I be on the wrong podcast?
No, actually, I think you're just going to get on another list now. That's all.
I think I'm already on quite a few. Yeah. I can live with that.
Pretty sure we have a competition for who's on the most number of lists.
Yeah,
I'm in good company then.
Yeah. Terry, I think you're up first.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay,
we'll just round table it.
Somebody moved me up here to the first. I don't know why, but anyway, now my news of just as the world seems to be going down the toilet, our good old Canadian government released its latest defense policy. As usual, big on talk and little on action. Because just months ago these clowns cut $1 billion out of the defense budget. Now they're promising the world and they're going to buy this and they're going to buy that. Yeah, and in the meantime, we get members looking for food handouts when they're way on course and having to buy their own gear when they're in training. So, yeah, I don't know. In the news article I got, there was a quote from General Wayne Eyre, the Chief of Defense Staff, says, "What keeps him up all night is the state of the world. And what we need to do is something that I've been calling harmful bureaucracy." And yeah, we know all about that because the Canadian government can't seem to they can't procure anything. It takes decades of bullshit and lying and canceling contracts and paying people out and thinking about it and hiring more consultants and thinking about it some more. And by the time they do buy something, it's obsolete and you got to start all over again. Yeah, it's a sad state of affairs.
Well, it's funny how they went straight from the Browning high power pistol, World War II, all the way to the 320 here. Finally, after a procurement program was ongoing the whole time through, but it was.
It took 100 years, almost.
Yeah, it was crazy, but yeah, no, it's interesting because I mean they're talking about how they're gonna help and provide aid and everything else. I don't even think they have bullets or rifles right now because they gave everything away to Ukraine. So I mean I don't know what they're planning on fighting with, but like I think the guys over in Belarus was not Belarus. Lithuania, I think they had some troops sitting over there, or Poland, one of the two, and they had to buy their own helmets because they couldn't even get helmets given to them.
Yeah, they couldn't get their own gear.
Yeah,
and there was an issue with them not having a place, not being able to get anything to eat either. They had to go hunting for themselves had to get people to send them money so they could buy food because nobody thought that maybe a bunch of military guys would like a little food.
Well,
what are you going to eat for? Come on.
Politicians eat well. They eat well.
Yeah, it was a little funny. I'm sure everybody heard it today and knows what's going on with the whole Iran thing. We will probably talk about that a bit later. But Trudeau was pounding his chest today. Oh, we're there for them and we're there for Israel and whatever they need, we'll give it to them. And I'm thinking, where are you going to get it from? Like, where are you going to get it from? You got nothing to give them. The cupboards are bare.
And just a few weeks ago,
yeah, they were pro Gaza. So they were
a few weeks ago they were pro Gaza and they were cutting them off from any arms sales.
Yeah, they're
like the Clown Prince of Socks is just back and forth. I shouldn't be so nice to him, but I'm trying not to get bleeped out like Pierre.
Well, it's kind of funny because even like this week, Jagmeet, I didn't put this in the news articles, but Jagmeet came out and said that the carbon tax is unfair on the average consumer and shouldn't be put on the public. And literally the week before, he voted to continue the carbon tax. And it's just like, does nobody want to talk about this flip flop that just happened and everything else? It was
hold on. Are you guys suggesting politicians lie?
And they might have talked out of both sides of their mouth. Yeah.
Trudeau goes public.
Make this shit up.
I don't understand what his problem is, and I don't understand why he's backing away. Well, his rat ship is sinking. He's had 6 of his cabinet ministers walk away, and I think 3 are gone, and 3 more have said we're not running in the next election, and 2 of them are pretty prominent people in the party. And I think he realizes, or maybe he's starting to realize, that his supply and procurement or whatever deal he had with the Liberals maybe turns out to be a bad idea, but it's too late. He's done.
Well, I'm sure the polling numbers were just abysmal. Like, I'm sure they came back this week and he's like, oh, I got to change something. But he'll get his pension because they delayed the election a week, so he'll be fine.
Yeah, like that shouldn't even be allowed.
Yeah.
Like, really?
Just long enough.
Does that happen to any of us?
Yeah,
not in your life.
The problem is,
well, he gets his pension in February, I believe, next year. But here's the funny part: they changed the date of the election by a week. I can't remember the excuse they were using about why there was something going on. They wanted to move the election 1 week later because that 1 week allowed, I believe it's 24 members of the Liberal Party, and there were other ones in the other parties as well, but Liberals are leading the cause, that those 24 people now become eligible for a pension just by changing that election by 1 week.
Yep.
Because they know they won't be elected again.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I think they were talking about, it was a religious holiday. They said that it wasn't fair to the people that were on a religious holiday that they couldn't come and vote. I'm like, really?
Right.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Yeah. Hasn't affected them any other year, but it's definitely affecting them this year. So anyway, but I think
It's one of those holidays that skips years.
it's got to be. Yeah, it wasn't Diwali, but it was some other like I think it's South Asian holiday. I can't remember which one it is, but
Well, they'd make one up if they could.
well, the Liberals certainly would. But anyway. All right, so back to my original intro. Google results for eye damage are in no surprise. They're up since the eclipse.
Wait a minute. Something happened that could damage eyes?
So, after all the warning that happened this, leading up to the eclipse, about don't look directly at the sun, use welding goggles, blah 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 blah. Don't stare at the sun. Don't take binoculars to the sun. Yeah, I guess the Google results just went through the roof after the eclipse. I'm like, we're doomed. Like, how stupid are people at this point? But
Well,
I bet it was. I bet it was the counterfeit glasses.
I was just going to say that. I bet you that a lot of people bought what they thought were proper glasses, and they were probably nothing more than a piece of plastic with some tint on it. And
Pretty sure it was just some cardboard cut out like glasses with nothing else. I'm safe now, right?
yeah, remember the old movie 3D goggles.
I don't get it. What it was so blasted out there to it, and it just I don't know. I'm speechless.
Very little to say on that one,
Yeah.
but yeah.
It just it does the kind of you reduce your hope for humanity a little bit.
or
There
what
is-
could have been the real cause was that they've just figured the world's going to end, so I might as well just burn my eyes. What does it matter?
Yeah, then I don't have to see it.
I'll wander the apocalyptic wasteland blind versus with sight. I guess I don't know.
Darwinism in action.
Yeah. And then he's asking where Pierre is. He had to take a night off with some family stuff. He'll be back next week. And that's it. Yeah. Oh, the problem says once they secure their pension, they don't care.
I don't think anybody cares once they secure their pension, do they? Just saying.
Not really.
I've got this idea I'm going to throw. It's just a concept, and it's going to, if it actually goes through with it, I'll be really impressed. But we should have one term only. One term only. You want to take a kick at the can up there? You want to take the PM job? Sure. But you're only ever going to get one term, and that is it. That is it. End of story. Pension? You don't deserve it. You get enough exposure, you can be on the lecture circuit for the rest of your life. No, you shouldn't get a pension. Back in the Roman days, just a little suggestion, just a little tidbit I'll throw out there. Back in the Roman days, you had to pay to become a jurist. You had to pay to become a lawmaker. Why? Because the amount of influence you had politically was thought to be too much, so you had to literally pay into it. And then, of course, well, we know where all that went, history and all that. So,
Well,
just a
they also had I guess a resolution conflict mechanism for when they disagreed with their leaders too. If you go by the Ides of March, so I mean, turns out it was a little stronger than a recall, but
although tarred and feathering is not a bad thing.
I'm just saying, it's not a bad idea. A little confused with Murray's question. So Murray finally asked the question. He says, "Okay, here, gentlemen, here's my one question. Human beings are sitting in ditches across Canada. Your thoughts?" I'm thinking it's going to grow. Murray, are you referring to homeless people, or are you referring to people protesting the carbon tax? Are you not sure what you're after there? But because I know over in Lloydminster right now, the protesters were actually moved from private property into some grass ditches, and they immediately got swooped on them by about 30 police cars. But they'd been ignored for the whole time up until that point. And it was on the Sean Newman podcast last week. It was very interesting to listen to.
Yeah, I'm guessing he's talking about homelessness, and I mean when the Liberal government, I'm sure everybody's heard in the last week they've been using up all their carbon credits and getting on their jets and going from one side of the country to the other, bragging about what they're going to do for homelessness. The simple fact of the matter is, and don't get me wrong when I say this, I don't have anything against immigration. I don't have anything against people coming in, doing it the right way, doing it the legal way, doing everything proper. The simple fact of the matter is we're not building homes fast enough. And even if we are building homes, they're out of reach for the average person in terms of being able to afford it now. So is it going to get worse? Absolutely. I think it's going to get way worse before it ever gets better. The government can toot their horns all they want. At the end of the day, if you're bringing in more people than you can house, sure, you're going to have a problem.
Well, inflation, I mean, is literally just more money or more physical dollars chasing the same items. So everything becomes like valued higher per se, or at least costs more, but your wages aren't keeping up. So yeah, it's clearly going to get worse. I mean, it's not like your wages have gone up at the same rate as the unofficial inflation rate versus the CPI, which doesn't mean anything. But
There's
anyway,
inflation.
yeah, it turns out there is. MSN article: The world did not end, much to people's chagrin.
Hold on. The eclipse didn't end things?
Turns out no, but there was a lot of people floating around the internet that were talking about how the world was definitely going to end, and you definitely need to be good with God and everything else before the eclipse happened. And I was like, I thought we were done with cutting people's hearts out in order to appease the sky gods and stuff. It's just like, yeah.
History repeats, does it not?
Usually
Yeah.
does.
I don't know what the hysteria is about though. Like, because I mean, most people honestly, if they hadn't come out in the media and talked about this eclipse, most people have no idea it's coming, right? And so, like, for the minute and a half that would happen, everybody like, what? Oh, geez, okay, well, never mind. But
Well,
They probably wouldn't have stared at the sun either.
they probably
well,
wouldn't have stared at the sun.
I have a theory. It's just
Oh,
a theory
yes,
because I
please.
didn't verify
Oh.
it. But in the same way that election results and election news can be suppressed or brought to the forefront when you're on social media or that sort of thing, or certain keywords can be suppressed or highlighted and brought forward. Well, I'm wondering if any of that's been going on with relative to all what's happening, just so that people are highly, highly, highly entertained by this whole eclipse thing. I don't know. It's just useful if people are distracted for leading them down the garden path, isn't it?
It was emphasized way more than I ever thought it was going to be. Like, it was wild the amount of emphasis that was put on this eclipse, and even like we touched on at the beginning, the whole wear your safety glasses, like it was everywhere constantly. It was too loud. It was very, very loud. It was strange.
Yeah.
And then nothing.
Perfect time and cover to do all kinds of stuff. Everybody's distracted, right? That's how most magic
true,
tricks are pulled off.
I just expect some Ocean 11's action or something, but nothing.
Yeah. So I always question, well, what did happen that day that was not eclipse related, that we still haven't figured out or thought about because everybody's busy talking about eclipse.
Oh, some new bill signed into law, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt.
Let's see here. I had an article for BC here. It says BC says to get prepared. So, gentlemen, welcome to day one as of the 14th here of Tsunami Preparedness Week.
So are we being good citizens by preparing?
I guess they're trying to say that we, good citizens should actually go and be prepared for certain things, which is very interesting. Seeing as like
eclipses, does it mention the eclipse?
It does not, but it does. It's interesting that 2/3 of the population of British Columbia lives on coastal areas, and so I guess probably valid, except for if you actually do any research on it, the chance of a tsunami wiping out Vancouver, Victoria, and is actually pretty low. So I don't know if that's the best thing to worry about. They might have other things to worry about in BC. Just saying.
Yeah, but I'm not disagreeing with you on that. Chances are slim, but I mentioned it, I believe, a couple of podcasts ago, and I've still kind of really been watching it more than ever now. The seismic activity that's been going on, and like I'm telling you, Alaska's getting, a half a dozen, 2.5 magnitude earthquakes every single day. Like every day, there's 4 or 5 different stars on the map that Alaska's getting. There's been a pickup in it. Will it relate to anything? I have no idea. Do they know something we don't? I have no idea, but I'm just telling you what I'm seeing.
Yeah, we actually had that in the watering troughs here. You can actually see the little jiggles happening. That's about it. But there's one thing that's about 30 or 40 kilometers off the island, just to the west. It's about to actually split and let some more magma out. But yeah, so far there's just been a bunch of tiny ones. But yeah, so far nothing major. I mean, back in 1700 they had that the orphan wave they called it, right? That took out Japan, that washed out Alaska, went across, hit Japan, and everybody was like, "Well, that's kind of weird because we didn't have an earthquake here." But yeah, we had it over on the BC coast supposedly, and wiped up everything to about 200-foot level. But hey,
Yeah.
I'm
If
200,
if
I'm 200
Scott was
feet
here
high.
with us tonight, he could tell us about it firsthand.
That's true because he was probably like reading it in the not I wouldn't even say newspaper, printing press paper back then.
He probably had his surfboard out.
Yeah,
He
could easily
surfed.
be.
That's awesome.
Well, Hawaiian surfed a long time ago too, so I guess
Yeah,
you know ancient Egyptian Scott there, he'd probably do it too. But
It's on my bucket list. Need to go surfing.
well, just don't do it in Tofino because the water's been polluted by Soxy McClownface there. But that's his little getaway, hideaway place. Anyway, surge in GTA auto thefts. So the Greater Toronto area is now Grand Theft Auto place. I guess it's GTA has auto thefts on the steep climb right now. You guys been hearing
Big
about
time. Big time. Yep.
Huh.
That's where the whole keep your keys by the front door to avoid break and enters came from, I believe.
Oh,
Mhm.
wasn't that? They were talking about Toronto there? I thought there was somewhere down
Oh,
in the
yeah.
States.
That was Toronto.
Yeah.
Toronto's
That's just
That was
one more
Toronto.
thing for Toronto to be proud of.
Yep.
Just add it to the list. There's not 3 or 4 shootings every day. It's 3 or 4 dozen cars being stolen. Or God. Well, on the bright side, we didn't talk about the Australian knife attack. That's that happened in heck, I forget what it was, Australia somewhere. I just don't remember where.
It's Melbourne, I believe.
Yeah, it was
And,
near Sydney, I believe.
It was Sydney.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was in
Sydney?
Sydney.
Oh.
Oh,
But yeah, I mean, the good news is that gun control doesn't work. It turns out, and but a gun did save the day, and so a person with a gun stopped a person with a knife. It's amazing.
Wow,
And
look at that.
yeah, ironically enough, the guy was after like damaging women, and a woman cop shot him. So yay, irony! It's great.
Yeah, there's that at least.
But yeah, it just goes to show you that it's not the tool; it's the person behind it, right? So whether it's a knife or a gun or whatever, crazy is crazy. So you maybe want to focus on crazy people versus the actual tool they're using, because as we've discovered with BC's drug problem, banning stuff doesn't work, nor does yeah. Anyway,
Well, that sounds like disinformation. That's because that's not what Justy and the boys are telling us.
Yeah.
They're
I
telling us
know.
that everything is great because of these drug policies.
I'm
So I
pretty
don't know
sure
who
if
to
something's
believe,
put in the
honestly.
law, everybody follows it, right?
I don't know who to believe. It's,
always.
yeah.
pretty sure, yeah. Yeah.
That's how that goes.
Really, this could be a comedy show for crying out loud, talking about politics.
I know, right?
And news.
It's beginning to be.
Just blackfilling now. I don't know.
It's almost like we've taken on the other CPP for a night.
Yeah.
They're hijacking their shtick.
Oh, I forgot to mention about the Israel thing. Yeah, so $1 billion they spent for the Iron Dome for one night. So I don't know if you guys saw
Wow.
I don't know if you guys saw the footage from when they were like clacking away at the incoming missiles and stuff. But yeah, it was just like the whole sky's lit up with bullets flying everywhere, and they had fighter jets up trying to flip over the cruise missiles and stuff. And yeah,
Jeez.
very very high expenditure. So I mean, I think Iran spent, I think it was like $100 or $200 million on the actual missiles. Israel spent $1 billion defending against them. So if they just do that for like 6 months, the war is over.
Well,
Because one
funny,
side's broke, right?
Wild. Wild.
Somebody asked me the other night, and I couldn't answer the question. I had no, but they said, at what point would Israel run out of rockets for their Iron Dome? Like Iran just fired 300 missiles at them. The Hezbollah and that have still been firing missiles every now and then. And I mean, I'm assuming that they can't build the missiles fast enough to replace the Iron Dome ones. At what point do they run out?
I mean, just like artillery shells, right? Like the production rate is going to be way lower than the expenditure rate right now. So I mean, yeah, sooner or later something's going to give, right? Not to mention the cost.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. Wild.
A lot of our money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I mean, it could be worse if you're an American right now. You're funding both sides, so they literally sent pallets of money to Iran a few times in the last few years, and during the Obama administration, and now they're actually paying for Israel to defend against the money they gave Iran. It's like wow. Anyway,
Oh boy.
but of course, the U.S. is the adult in the room right now. They are trying to de-escalate things after the Iranian thing because they don't want Israel to retaliate against the second attack now. So, I mean, hopefully that keeps things calm. I don't know.
Guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
It's not good though. Either way.
Now, and having to acknowledge the fact that it's crazy out there, it's really good to do that because then you can go, okay, what's next? Now, being an action fella, I'm all about action. What can I do for any of that stuff? Turns out there's not really anything I can do. There's a bunch of like screens and voices telling me, oh, there's warfare. There's all kinds of shit hitting the fan. And what can we do? Keep on prepping. That's what I say. There's no sense getting our pennies in a bunch. What are we going to accomplish with that? Government is pretty good at doing that on their own. So let them get their panties in a bunch. They're in the hot seat anyway. We pay them a lot of money. And we need to simply put pressure on them to keep their focus on what is directly in front of us. I agree. The problem that we have is what we've got going on in our country right now. I personally wouldn't want to see any of our money going to feed any conflict of any kind anywhere. Personally, that's my thing. And we've got enough problems with what we've got here at home that they get involved in other conflicts. Our Canadian Armed Forces have been gutted for a long time. There's no amount of spin that's going to actually feed our armed forces and shelter and house them and keep their gear and upkeep and keep them in a modern environment. We've got a new reality today where there are drones that can be easily and cheaply deployed by anybody with a really low amount of technology on hand. People can get their hands on a drone and get out there and operate it. And it probably is not a whole lot of work from there to imagine a way to use that for some kind of payload. And so I think we all know what that means. And so knowing where that environment is, let's be realistic. There's not a lot you can do if you're the average citizen who is renting somewhere. Well, Canada doesn't give you a whole lot of opportunities to leave and get out of that situation unless you have a lot of money. So all you can do is adopt a bit of a prepper mindset. Have some food on hand, have some water, have some friends that you can go and shelter up with if you're in trouble. Build up a network of people. If you want to wear the big prepper badge, well, you can start developing caches and places and people where you can leave stashes of things and where you can elaborate plans to go there in case you are stuck or in a jam. Alternate locations to be. These are all things that have always been useful to do, no matter what the circumstances. I had a situation just last year where fires going near my cabin had me needing to plan really quickly to move all my stuff out in a hurry. Nothing I could have done to control that or even plan for it. It just happened, so I had to act quickly. So as long as in your preparations you are ready to act quickly to move or to change your circumstance as need be, I think you'll be fine. And then you can just keep an eye out on things. But beyond that, what I should recommend more is if you're in Canada, if you're in the United States, we have countries that have traditionally for a long time. We've accepted all kinds of cultures here. That's because we're very welcoming people as a general rule. And so we've got a mixture of everybody here. And so we've got cultures here that are in conflict overseas as well. And so to me, there's a really high possibility of some of these conflicts spilling out into our own streets. I don't like it, but I'm not active in those spaces. I can't tell you when they're going to happen. I can tell you what the risk is, but there is a risk. It's quantifiable. our intelligence services and the police forces, and at the national level, they probably have a better idea of all of that stuff, but they don't want to have any panic either. And let's face it, panic has never helped anybody. So the best thing you can do, keep your heads on a
Well,
swivel, keep
it's
prepping,
funny,
right?
it's funny you say that, Gunny, because and I'm not singling out any particular section of society or anything like that. You just have to look at, of course, what's been going on with and I'm just talking about Canada, what's been going on, of course, over in Israel and Gaza and all that, and the large amount of pro-Palestinian rallies that have been going on here and shutting down bridges and just there seems to be rallies all over. And again, I'm not picking sides here. I'm not saying anybody's right or wrong. I don't know if anybody's heard, but apparently tomorrow is supposed to be Action 15, and it's the Palestinians trying to organize just a mass rally everywhere around, and they're calling, marching downtowns, close down streets. You gotta, people aren't listening. Your only way to make your point is to take the next step. When they're kind of looking at what the farmers did in France, and hey, look how successful they were, blocking roads, doing all that stuff. And so you're right. We've got all of those people in the different cultures and the different, and it's just in my mind, it's just a teapot waiting to blow up.
Well, if you add to that the fact that we are experiencing in this country shortages of supplies, shortages of housing, shortages of jobs for the first time, because we've brought so many people into the country so quickly. That it's now causing the employment rate to rise because we've just brought in so many people so quickly. So all those pressures are going to also add to your mental health questions, mental health issues. They're going to add to economic issues. Anybody who's been involved in law enforcement over the years, they know if you want to increase the level of crime in any area, just go ahead and drop the amount of jobs and income coming in across the board, and you're going to start seeing that crime. You're going to see it. It's inevitable, right? So what can we do? Again, well, carry on with your preps, right? The best thing you can do is keep your head squared away, keep your gear squared away, keep your family squared away as much as you can, right? You're only as strong as your network. We used to tell us back when I was wearing green, they used to tell us things like you're only as strong as the weakest link in the chain, right? And that is absolutely true. Right? A family can be brought down by one member who is not doing well and not getting themselves together. Well, you can't just let them abandon them out. You have to bring them in and help them out, right? And it's the same thing with any group of people that you've banded together with to help navigate through any crisis. So keep up with the networks. Keep your heads on a swivel. Don't go down too many rabbit holes. It's very easy if you're in the echo chamber of social media to go down a rabbit hole that is just irrelevant. It's not going to help you in your everyday life. Maybe get away from the screen for a while. That's probably the best recommendation, right?
Yep. And kind of from my end of things for people, I've kind of have three issues. Two of them are big concerns for me. I'm deeply concerned about supply chain issues. The maritime shipping routes are coming under attack almost on a daily basis. The latest one, if anybody hasn't heard, Iran, funny enough, who just shot the missiles off, seized a merchant vessel in the Strait of Hormuz the other day. The Houthi rebels from Yemen, they continue, and they've been attacking vessels in the Red Sea for a long time, and it's really slowed down vessel traffic. That things don't, boat owners, operators, and that they don't want to go through there. And let's be honest, the vast majority of things that we own, talking cell phones, computers, like even all that kinds of stuff, they come in on a boat. It's a lot easier to put, several thousand sea cans on a boat than trying to get them by truck or by plane or by anything else. And if you can't get them and they can't get through, that's going to be, in my mind, one of the big issues we're gonna end up having a problem with. My other concern keeps popping up everywhere. I think a lot of it is testing stuff, and they're throwing out there and seeing what sticks. Is cyber attacks. You know, you're hearing more and more almost every day now that companies, municipalities, cities, even I believe one of the major police services in Canada was a victim of a cyber attack. And you know, my big concern on that, double folded, is the electricity grid. It's susceptible to those cyber attacks. The grid is garbage. My area, we just had a windstorm the other day. It wasn't a huge windstorm, and thousands of people were without power. Someone on for more than 24 hours. You know, and I'm not going to go into all kinds of climate change and all that stuff, but storms are getting stronger. They're getting worse. And there doesn't seem to be an appetite from any level of government to really be out front of the electricity problem. Everything is reactive. Oh, the power goes out. Okay, let's go and fix this bad wire that this tree fell on. It was a rotten tree. It should have been removed. You know, where's the preemptive stuff of I know they do some of it, but they just don't do enough. And you know, at the end of the day, let's be honest. 99% of what you do is power reliant. So if you're losing power and it's not an overnight thing or a few hours, it's going to cause some problems. So
Don't worry, we'll fix it with electric cars, Jeff. It'll be fine.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Actually, it's funny that with the overlap of the cyber attacks and the shipping thing. Once again, there was another ship there in New York, I think this time, that mysteriously lost power, started steering towards a bridge, but the tugs that were actually around it managed to stop it this time, from taking out the bridge, the Verrazano Bridge. I think that would have taken out the entire harbor again. So it's almost like there's a concerted effort going on there or something.
I'm sure it's just a coincidence.
And I can't remember exactly where it was, so I apologize for that. But a bunch of barges mysteriously came loose and started floating down the river. Again, they were able to get in there and get them stopped before they did any damage. But it's all of a sudden bridges seem to be a target, and I can understand why. It totally cuts you off from getting from point A to point B, and it's not just a simple, you know, make an alternate route or, you know, make another road. Like when that bridge is gone, it's gone for a long time.
Well, more importantly, it's just blocking the waterway, right? I mean, it's I think the one in Baltimore there actually was over top of gas line too. I think they were hoping to take that out at the same time. I guess it didn't work, but so
couldn't possibly be a cyber attack. Boats aren't on the internet, are they? Or any other network?
No, they're not electrically driven or anything. But
no, of course not. They don't use GPS for navigation or electronic systems. No, it's all wired.
There's no two-way communication at all, right?
No, never. Yep. Yeah. Now I'm just going to throw this one out there, and I'll throw my, you can throw the propeller head thing at me. You can throw the whole conspiracy theorist thing at me if you want, but
got it ready.
Every major country that has a cyber research program, a cyber defense program, also has cyber aggression plans.
Well,
put your tinfoil hat on, Gunny.
And any foot on the ground conflict will be preceded by wave after wave after wave of cyber attacks in order to weaken, confuse, misdirect, and also to simply demoralize the enemy.
It's politically more palatable than bombing Dresden, right? Like, I mean, it's certainly going to go over a little bit better with the world stage and the population in general if you're not not just killing them, but you're just you might be unable to use a bank card for a few days, but you're certainly better off than a firestorm, right? So it only makes sense. I mean, wargaming with blue team, red team, that would only make sense too. If you're gonna have a cyber department, you're gonna have to have like some adversarial internal training program. So why wouldn't they? So just if it happens to work, and in the case of a conflict, so much the better. But I mean, yeah. Phil mentions, I ran lots of cyber attack on Israel just prior to the missile attacks. I heard something about that too.
Yeah,
I mean,
I had heard that too. I couldn't confirm anything, and it didn't seem that whatever they did slowed down the Iron Dome. But I mean, at the end of the day, if you don't try it, you don't know whether it's going to work or not.
and can confirm through friend of a friend that the GPS, of course, was completely baffled around Israel around the time of the conflict, a couple days up prior to it as well. That there's an airplane that was on final into Tel Aviv, and the GPS showed that they were in Beirut. So it's just like it was completely screwed up. So they had to turn everything off, and it was very interesting.
That confirmation through a friend of a friend is always the most accurate.
Yeah, well, I can rely on this one. So.
No, I think you guys are definitely onto something there. The cyber attack stuff is definitely coming. Gunny's point there about just, you know what, there's nothing we can do about it. Continue on along your way of prepping. Listen to the last 234 episodes and get your gear together and just look after you. There's no point in
cybersecurity episode in particular.
That too.
That's a big one.
Get your preps ready. Carry on as if you would anyways, and maybe disconnect from the news for a little bit, because all the fear mongering right now. Something's probably coming, but why focus on what's happening there when you could focus on what's happening in your own backyard, right?
Well, so you mentioned previously in the commentary there that just wait till, like, if supply chain issue or whatever, wait till somebody everybody goes off their meds because their SSRI drugs can't show up from China in a timely fashion because of a shipping problem. And if you think you got problems now, just wait until everybody's off their meds. It's going to be a bad scene no matter what. You don't even need zombies at that point.
100%.
You pretty much got 28 days later on the streets at that point. So.
Yep.
I'm going to throw a challenge out there, though, to people who are real truth seekers, though, or truth publishers. If you really want to get the skinny on who's in the know with what's going on, just look at who's betting on the stock exchanges before any of these incidents happen. That's all trackable after the fact. It's not hard. Everybody can do the legwork if they're inclined. So if you're that kind of person who really wants to cut through all of the BS that you're hearing everywhere, believe me, a lot of it is, you can just go look at the numbers. The numbers won't lie. The people who are spending the money on the puts and on all the main actions prior to these events, they're the ones who are in the know. So
you realize that the average U.S. senator and congressman outperforms the stock market by about a 3-to-1.
See?
Come on.
It turns out there's actually indexes out there available on the internet that follow the purchases and sales of stocks by certain politicians that shall remain unnamed that used to be speakers of the House, and it turns out they get about 30 to 40% returns on their investment. It's amazing. They're just stock geniuses, better than Warren Buffett even.
Weird.
Weird. Very impressive.
Yeah, I'm blown away sometimes.
So we've got Kyle in the live chat here just mentioning just subscribed last week and have listened back to episode 191. Need a few more weeks to get all the way back. So much helpful info.
I'm sorry.
Impressive. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot of content, Kyle.
That is. Appreciate you going back and listening to everything. Apologize for the first, 100 or so episodes. Is that fair? First 100, we're getting warmed up. Oh, you know what? We're still getting warmed up to 235. So.
Yeah, our partners are into the our sister's show there is into the 300 and something now, aren't they? They started doing it when Trudeau took office, and they've been bitching weekly ever since, and it's pretty funny. They're still going strong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, wait till the junkies can't get it fixed. Well, I mean, because I guess most of the hard drugs are manufactured in China and stuff, so they still have to come in by ship too, right? So.
It's true. Well, just head to the hospitals. There's rooms set up for you now.
Well, there is that. So it turns out that banning drugs didn't actually work. So the war on drugs was an absolute failure. So they decided to go the extreme opposite end now and just allow drugs everywhere. And so now you can just do drugs in hospitals. And I guess if you're going to OD, it's like saves the delivery, so you saves Scott from having to go pick you up or something. But so on that note, I actually did an article from CBC that 8 years now since they declared a BC drug emergency in Vancouver, that turns out government hasn't accomplished anything. So obviously for people that have loved ones with substance abuse issues, my heart goes out to you and stuff. But in the meantime, as a prepper, learn CPR, carry naloxone, be a better human being. So at the very least, if there's, even if it's a stranger, but or if it's loved one especially, but you want to make sure you can at least action something in case something goes sideways.
It's true.
I've always said
having some knowledge.
And kind of one thing I wanted to throw out there, just kind of wrap things up from my end of it. I think we all know times are tough. There's sometimes people struggle and they get, be a good prepper, be a good friend, be a good neighbor. If, some people that are maybe in a bit of a spot, help them out a little bit. Do something for your fellow prepper and your fellow friend, and just make sure that you've got a bit of a mag if you can, and all stick together and work as a team, and you can get a lot more done working as a team than working as an individual.
No, you're not wrong there, Jeff.
Does Pierre want us to hit the explicit button just for fun?
I think he fucking does.
Damn it!
Yeah.
Well, so there goes that monetization chance, eh?
Yeah, there you go, Pierre. We're not monetized anyway, so whatever.
That's fine, yeah.
With everything we said here, this would get demonetized.
There is so many trigger words on this podcast already.
Yes, there are.
Yeah. It's
funny watching the YouTube stats. We don't get anywhere close to monetization. It's almost like the algorithm's working against us.
Like a shadow ban or something.
Yeah.
Might have something to do with certain legislation about online streaming, right?
Maybe.
I wonder.
Just a second. I got to go get my tinfoil. I got to make another hat.
Just wait till we get busted for hate speech because we're telling people to wipe their own asses.
No, how dare we?
Yeah, take care of yourself and your family. You guys are assholes. That'd be great.
Oh, jeez. I do have to catch this one here. Dave just mentions in the live chat, wait till he gets back to episode number 1. Yeah, don't listen to episode number 1. That's me just talking to myself.
Did we not erase?
It's very boring.
1 or like 1 to 50?
Oh no, Ian came in pretty soon after. I think he came in to stop me from talking to myself around episode 3. 3, yeah, 2, 3.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. And then Alan showed up shortly thereafter. Unless, Ian is Alan and Alan is Ian. Then it was just the two of us again.
It'd be actually, he just dropped a line, didn't he, a couple days ago?
Drop online?
No, he dropped a message on our little chat there a couple days ago. That was
kind of
good.
Yep.
Yeah, it's nice to hear from him anyway.
Well, Alan is still around for those of you who are wondering. And he might be just top left of the screen here, Ian.
That's all I had for articles. Really, there wasn't much else to talk about this week. Anyway, it's kind of just blackpilling all around. You guys have anything else?
Fair enough. You got some more there, Terry?
Well, I did have a couple of little things on there because we pretty much covered everything, but just want to put this out there because in this world, man, you can't discount anything. And I'm not much of a religious fellow, but there's those out there that really think that this eclipse is the starting point of things going bad quickly. And it's out there in prophecy. It's out there, if everybody can read it if you studied that kind of thing. I've studied some, but just saying, these days I don't think I'd discount anything, even that. Yeah,
that's good advice.
Just saying.
Yep, it's a good point.
In fact, things are so bad, maybe we want to hope that it really is true, because that might be our only saving bloody grace.
Well, we're definitely at Tarfu. I'm not sure if we're at Fubar yet.
Oh, well, we're at Tarfu. There's no doubt about that.
We are definitely at Tarfu.
Oh, yes. I don't know if there's any hope for us at all, but we're
there's
definitely
always hope. There's always hope.
We're not yet Fubar, so technically there's a way back from that. But
we can only hope. I'm sure Justy's working on that right now.
They all are. I'm sure of it.
Well, they're building bunkers for a reason, right? I mean, they can't all be spending big money on personal bunkers for just shits and giggles. I mean, nobody's that hardcore of a prepper at that business level, right?
Yeah,
that's
costs some serious money.
Prepping.
Yeah,
true.
Serious money there. Serious money.
Like
More
Zuckerberg,
anyway.
Well, Zuckerberg doesn't strike me as the tactical type and everything else, and yet there he is dropping $750 million on a bunker. I'm like, wow, all right.
That's a clue.
So the only difference between a prepper and somebody who's just being wise with their money is a few billion, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, makes sense.
Got it. Roger that.
Yeah, interesting
Govern
world.
yourselves accordingly.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the most important thing is just don't lose focus. Do your prepping. Don't get overwhelmed by the stuff on the news, and don't let it drive you over the edge and drive you to hit the rum. Because God knows you might need some of that. But
you gotta save that for bartering items. I mean,
yeah, just hope for the best and prepare for the worst, and that's all we can do. Do the best with what you have.
Good advice.
It's true.
Yeah.
No, some good advice, and yeah, it seems like the world's going to shit right now, and all kinds of stuff is happening all over the place. None of it's in your control, so
none of it.
Control what you can and ignore what you can't.
Mm-hmm.
And avoid listening to the people who are in a full panic mode. That's
true.
Good for anybody, including
Exactly.
that
Help you at all.
online. not
No shortage of
online,
people
which
online,
is
yeah.
Canadian.
Yeah.
All right. Well, with that, shall we move into the podcast challenge?
All right. Well, now's as good a time as any. It's time to start prepping. So, other than just watching the odd podcast and everything else, it's time to amp up the game just a tiny bit. So we'd love to hear about it. So, because who knows, right? Maybe some of those crazy YouTubers, they might be right one day and the world may actually end, but not this week. So yeah, no, I mean, you've always got time. So best time to start was like 10 years ago. Second best times today. So yeah, get at it. Tell us how you did or what you started out off your preps with. We'd love to hear about it because, yeah, I mean, the more people on the board, the plan, the better, right?
Awesome. All right, upcoming events. Terry, you've got some news.
I do have some news. Regarding the good old annual preppers meet that we've spoken about a fair bit. We have a change of venue coming up. We're now going to host the event at what's called the Slovenian Hunters Club at 6436 Concession Road 4 in beautiful downtown Everett, Ontario, which is just outside of Alliston. I'm excited about it because it's closer to me, so that works for me, right? That's not a bad thing. The Facebook group's been updated, the website's been updated, the frequently asked questions have been updated. So, if you're going or you want to go and you think maybe I will go because it's closer now than it was before or whatever, go check out the website or the Facebook page and have a peek. And if you got any questions, just post them there and we'll answer them for you.
Awesome. That's the only thing that's changed is the venue. Dates are the same, all that kind of stuff.
Dates are the same, just the venue's changed. That's the only thing. And it's a nice looking location. I haven't been there personally yet, but I've seen the pictures and it's pretty impressive. I think it's going to be good. Very good.
I think I hear the word Slovenian Hunters Club, and I think I should show up there in like later hosen, a fancy hat with a feather, maybe a double barrel shotgun, some big socks.
A double barrel shotgun would be just the ticket, right? Yeah.
Are you suggesting you weren't going to come dressed like that if it was still in Desborough?
I want to justify it. There's a difference.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. But that's where it's going to be. So it sounds pretty good. So
awesome.
So stay tuned for any more updates.
Thank
Well, fantastic. I'm throwing a link in the live chat there for anybody that wants to check it out. It's annualpeppersmeat.com.
Yep.
All right. Jeff, you got a weather blurb for us?
I do. And I'll just piggyback on what Eric said is, there's lots of things we can't control, and weather is one of them. I know people are saying they're trying, and there's all kinds of, I won't go down the road of the chemtrails and all that stuff that's going around and whatever. But it's just one of those things you can't control. You just have to be aware of it, and you have to understand it a little bit. And all I'm trying to do is help and give a bit of info. So I'm going to say all signs and models are pointing to a bit of a multi-day severe weather outbreak coming up. If it's not happening today, you're living anywhere in the Pennsylvania area, there's a good line of storms going through there right now. I don't believe we're going to see anything of the tornadic nature, but there's going to be some pretty intense storms, chance of hail. And then starting tomorrow, maybe mid-afternoon-ish, things are going to really start to bubble up in the south. Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Kansas area. They're already getting summer-like temperatures. There were places in Texas today that were over 90 degrees. Dew points, which is one of the big factors in severe weather. There's a lot of them that kick into it. There's something called the CAPE level, which is the convective atmospheric potential energy. And temperature and humidity are two of the key factors, and they've got that down there right now. So they're going to be in line for some pretty intense storms tomorrow. I don't think it's going to be as bad as they were calling for a few days ago. The risk has diminished somewhat from what it was 2 days ago, but the possibility is still there. They were in a 10% tornado risk area. That's dropped to 5. Again, just because it's dropped to 5 doesn't mean it's not going to happen. My confidence in the Storm Prediction Center on this one isn't very high, and that's really unusual. They are pretty well accurate, and I'm thinking they're a little bit off on this one. But again, things can change, things can happen. So just because the storm isn't possibly going to be there, or you don't think it's going to be there, it could very well show up. I think Tuesday is going to be a much more active day. Excuse me. Things are going to be moving up a bit of the north now. The severe threat is going to be in the areas of Iowa, northern Missouri. They're going to be in there. They've got an enhanced risk. And I think looking at all the models again, humidity, CAPE levels, the cap, all of that stuff, that I think something's going to pop off there. So if you're in that area on Tuesday, you really want to be aware. I've got a lot more confidence in that forecast than I do for Monday. Again, I'm not saying nothing's going to happen Monday, but I've just got a lot more confidence that that central area, like I say, Iowa, northern Missouri, they're kind of in the bubble, shall we say? I mean, does that not mean that trailing storms are going to be further south, even as far as North Texas having a slight risk? Yeah, they're there. But I would be watching out if I'm in that area. We're only on here every week. Storms change. Things pop up. So I'm always updating the Discord in the weather section. So if you're not part of our Discord, you should be, and you'll get I'll hopefully be able to give you more information there.
Awesome. Yeah, link to the Discord should be in the show notes for anybody looking for it.
Phil asks, is there any prepper meetups in BC? Well, no, but you could always start one.
It's true.
Yes. The Lower Mainland actually could really use one. There's tons of guys interested in it, and it'd probably be an easy collection point for everybody. But yeah,
you know what? Come on out to Ontario. We got a good one. Just saying.
Welcome here.
Awesome. We got deal of the week.
Yeah, good old Cabela's has Gerber knives up to 40% off at cabela's.ca. So my personal favorite, the Gerber Strong Arm, 25% off, which is the pre-COVID price of $99. But yeah, I mean, there's plenty of knives out there, and hatchets and all sorts of sharp tools. But yeah, pretty good deal overall. So the link's gonna go in the show notes and probably on the link for the live chat as well.
Awesome. As far as reviews go, we had one come in. Somebody not too happy about episode 232. That's unfortunate, but they were hoping that we would do better with 233, and we had Don Mann on. So yeah, that's probably one of my favorite episodes. So I think we knocked that one out of the park. Hopefully you come back around and bump that review from 3 to 5. That'd be great.
Oh, I see that. You got yourself a book.
Oh, look at that.
A book. Nicely, Terry.
Yes,
Look at
sirree.
that.
I ordered Don's book and I got that. It looks great. It's a motivational book, which is something all preppers need like right about now. A little bit of motivation.
True.
It's a hardcover book. I kind of forget how much it cost. It was 20 some bucks, which is a pretty good deal.
Okay.
So looking forward to getting into that.
Well, nowadays for actual
Yes.
paper copy book, that's a really good price because
Yeah.
that's what they normally charge.
Especially
Yeah,
a
not bad at all.
hardcover.
Yeah, for a hardcover, that's pretty good.
Nice find.
Very nice. Very nice.
Let us know what it's like.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
Awesome. Well, with that, I'll bring episode number 235 of the Canadian Prepper Podcast to an end. You can find the podcast on iTunes, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app. I'm pretty sure we're on pretty much all of them now. Please submit a review. It does help other people find us, and of course, helps the algorithm do its thing.
And we do record these shows live on YouTube, Book of Faces, if you have it. If you want an early peek at the shows, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, Canadian Prepper Podcast, and click the notifications tab. That will give you an alert when we are going live. If anybody wants to reach out to me, I'm at feedback@prepperpodcast.ca, or as I mentioned earlier, I am frequently on the Discord.
And you can reach me on the Annual Preppers Meet Facebook page or at my personal email, terrylblackmore@hotmail.com.
You can find me, the Frugal Gunny, on YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, Instagram, and even the CPP Discord. And this summer in person at the Annual Preppers Meet.
Yes.
Right.
Right on. You can reach Ian directly by emailing me at theislandretreat@gmail.com. You can also find me on Canadian Patriot Podcast with Pierre and a cast of others. Live on YouTube. We're recording Monday evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern, as well as on iTunes. You can find me on the Gilded app for the other CPP and Discord for us. Forget about Gab. They're all done now, it seems. You can find us discussing why government waste and the general degradation of society keeps us busy by just lamenting it.
Well, welcome back to the Discord. It is good to have you back.
Yeah.
You can check out Rapid Survival at rapidsurvival.com, and you can get me there on the live chat. You can email me at feedback@prepperpodcast.ca. I will also be in person at the annual Preppers Meet this year, so come on over and say hello as well if you want.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for joining us. Until next time, be prepared, stay safe,
And keep learning.